G'day, this is Shane from Shane's Computing Networking and Cybersecurity. This is the next part of my video series of how to keep your system safe and secure. In this video series, I'm going to be demonstrating how to enable administrative access control on your computer system. So I've been in Bathurst for some time, and I have noticed that several of my clients, particularly elderly clients, they have been targeted with scams. And these scammers, they typically will call the elderly client. They'll gain trick them to gain remote access to their system. Then once they have remote access to their system, they install malware or nasty viruses, and those viruses enables them to gain access to their bank accounts so they can take money off them. So in this video series, I'm going to give you a brief demonstration of how you can protect yourself from that by enabling an administrative password. And I'm going to talk about basic password control to make it simple but secure. So simple and secure. So a bit about myself. I'm Shane. I have a master's degree in cybersecurity. I currently reside at Bathurst at the moment. Here's a photo of me when I was down at the Bathurst 1000. Very, very foggy day up there at Brock Skyline. I was surprised supercars were able to race through there. I almost called the race off. Safety cars kept it coming out, but Team Penite, full of win. They won that race. That's just about Penite about to cross the finish line. Anyway, I digress. So let me share my screen. Give it a few moments because I'm on Zoom. Few moments for it to display the screen. All right, so what I got over here is I got a basic Windows 10 client here. So this is probably what most people have, unless if you're a Mac user. If you are, well, you can still follow the same principles. It's just a different way to operate it. Right here. So what I got over here is I've got an application which can be installed on this system. Now this is a Notepad++ application. You don't need to worry about that. This is a secure application. I'm using it for demonstration purposes. So say I want to install this application on this computer system. You double click on it, user access control pops up, and it's going to ask you, do you want to allow this app to make changes on your device? You can select yes or no. Now the issue with this is there's no password. It's not prompting for administrator password. It's more secure if you enable a password during user access control. The reason for that being is if you enable someone remote access to your computer system and they got access to your system, which is an administrative user, they don't need a password to install anything. They can just simply select yes, and they can install whatever they want on your system. That's very insecure. That's not a secure system. You want it to prompt you for a password. So I'm going to show you how to enable that. So to enable this, we're going to have two users on this system. So as you can see here, we currently have one user on this system called user. We're going to create a second user called administrator, or admin for short. Let's do that now. So I type in user in the taskbar, and you can see here it says add, edit, or remove other users. So I'm going to select that option. Stand by. It pops up with family and other users. And down here in the section where it says other users, I'm going to select the option to add someone else to this PC. So I'm selecting that option down here in the family and other users section. Stand by. Right, loads. Now you can add another user if they have a Microsoft account. So if you've got a second person and you want to add them who's got a Microsoft account, you can add them here. However, for this per demonstration, I'm not going to add a Microsoft account. I'm going to add a local user onto this system, which is not linked to any Microsoft account. So this is just a local user. So to do that, I'm just going to select down here saying I don't have this person's sign-in information. So I'm going to select down here instead of entering an email. Stand by. Right here. Now, I'm not going to enter email here. I'm going to select the option down here. Add a user without a Microsoft account. So I'm going to select this option. Now I'm going to call this user admin. And I'm going to give admin a password. Now, if you want to see the password you typed, you can press the little I button. Now, please do not use password 1. I'm just using this for demonstration purposes, but this is not a secure password. I would recommend a password which has capitals, hash, and all that. I'm just using password 1 because it's a YouTube video and I'm trying to keep it efficient and quick. Now, after you wrote down this password, you'll want to grab yourself a notepad and pen, and you want to write this password down. Then you want to lock this notepad into a locked safe or a locked filing cabinet, preferably a safe. So you hand write down your passwords in case if you forget them. Then you lock it away in a filing cabinet or safe. So the password's not even saved on the internet. It's in a locked cabinet in your home, more secure. It's an old method, but it's still quite secure. Now, in case if you forget your password as well, it's going to ask you some security questions. So it's going to ask you what's your first pet's name. Now, you've got to be careful in what you enter here, because if you're using, say, a social media service and you're talking about your favorite pet or your pet's name on social media, a criminal can gain that information. At the moment, I'm just going to enter in XYZ. Don't enter this in yourself, because I'm not going to tell the internet who was my first pet and where I was born, because due to security issues and my childhood nickname. Internet does not need to know my childhood nickname or my first pet's name. So I'm just going to enter XYZ here. But you can enter in whatever you want. Just make sure whatever you enter is not publicly available information online. So if you're talking about, if you're on social media and you're discussing, oh, my first pet was Loki, for example, don't use that as a security question in case if you forgot your password, because someone can easily source that information and set your password. So I'm just going to select next. Now, as you can see here, we now have an admin account here. The admin is a local account. We want to change this from a local account to administrator account. So let's do this now. I'm going to select admin and I'm going to select change account type. And now you've got two types of users. You've got your standard user and you've got an administrator user. A standard user can use the operating system, access the internet, access applications and whatnot, but they cannot install applications without approval from the administrator user. So I'm going to change this user from a standard user to administrator user. So the admin user is now going to be changed to an administrator user. So the administrator has full access and control. They can install applications and do other configurations on your systems. I won't go into that now because I'm trying to keep this simple. So as you can see here, I have now added the administrator user. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into the administrator user. So I'm going to select sign out. So I'm just going to sign out of the standard user account. Give it a minute. Now, if you have a look here to the lower left hand of your screen, you can see you've got two accounts. You've got a user account and you've got an admin account. I'm going to select the admin account and I'm going to log into the admin account. Give it a minute. What logs in? It's going to go for a little introduction when you first log into a new user account. So yeah, basically what we're doing is we're going to log into this administrator account and we're going to disable, well, we're not going to disable, actually, we're going to change the user account so that we're going to have two accounts, the administrator account and the user account. The administrator account's going to have administrator access. The user account's just going to be a standard user. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to change the user account to become a standard user account. In doing so, say if someone just does call you up and they want remote access to your system, it's going to prompt you for a password before you can install any applications they're going to trying to trick you into install. Now, let me just go accept, stand by. I'll get on to that first. I'll just continue the demonstration and I'll give a further explanation after the video. Well, so I'm just going to go here and I'm going to type in users again. Now you can see here, I can see the user account. So before it was the administrator account, but now I can see the user account. The user account is set as administrator local account. I'm going to change that account type to a standard user. So that's that done. So now the user account is now only a standard user account. It can't install applications without the permission of the administrator. So now I'm going to exit out of that. Now I'm going to sign out of the administrator account. And I'm going to sign back into the user account. Stand by while that signs in. Radio. So now if I click here, whenever at the start of the video, when I try to install this application, now if I click here, it's going to prompt up and it's going to go, okay, if you want to install this application, you're going to enter a password. This is the administrator password. So you just enter the password and it'll allow you to install the application. As you can see, it comes up with the installer. Now, why is this secure? Okay. Now, let's say if you've got an elderly parent who lives at home and they got a computer system and someone calls them and says, okay, your computer's infected. We need to install an application onto your system. And they try to encourage your elderly parent to navigate to a website where they'll download a remote access Trojan or remote access software. And this remote access software enables the criminal to remotely access your parent's computer system. Well, they'll then gain access to your parent's computer account, your internet banking account, and they'll then take your parents' money, which is probably your inheritance you're probably worried about. It's gone. They'll wash it in big cryptocurrency. It's gone overseas. Our police will struggle even trying to get it because it's outside of their jurisdiction. You want to make sure that doesn't happen. So how do you do that? You enable the administrator password. So say if someone does call your elderly parent and says, okay, I'm going to try to trick them to install something on the computer, and they do that, they install something on the computer, they're going to be prompted for a password. Now, say if what's probably really keeps things really secure is this password can be kept by the child of the elderly parent. For example, say that you set up a computer system for your parents for them to use, so you can communicate with your parents while they're living independently. You want to enable a password, administrator password. So if your parent wants to install anything on the computer system, they'll need to call their kids first and say, okay, I'm trying to install something on my computer system. It's asking for the password. Son, daughter, can you give me the password so I can install the system? Now, this gives the opportunity for the child or the parent to be like, oh, hold on, parent. What are you trying to install on the system? Then the elderly person can be like, oh, yeah, I got this call from Microsoft and they say my system's infected and they need me to install this remote access software on my system so they can, help me. Then the child of the elderly person can be like, oh, hold up. No, that's a scam. I'm not giving you the administrator password for that. No, hang up the phone. And yeah, that stops the scam. It's basic information security, really. With your passwords, whatever you do, don't save your password in plain text on the computer system. Write it down in a notepad, a notebook, old school technology, pen and paper. Put that in a locked safe or cabinet. Or better yet, especially if you're elderly person, write down that password and give that password to your son or your daughter. So anytime you want to install something on your computer system, you got to call your son or your daughter first and ask them for the password, and that can probably help catch ongoing scamming process. So yes, that's pretty much the video. Now in the next video, my next video, actually, I'm going to make more videos like this. Now I have a master's degree. I'm going to show you in my next video, how to password protect and encrypt a file or a drive on your computer system. So what we got over here is we got a little drive here, and you can see it's got a lock on it. So this I put in my you can put in your journal, or you can put in confidential information. It's encrypted by BitLocker. So if someone does steal your computer system and try to access your information, the data is encrypted. They can't see it. And if you click on it, it comes with a BitLocker and it asks for a password. So in my next video, or say my next video, I'm going to give a demonstration of how to password protect your files. And this is all done with what's installed in your operating system with Microsoft 10 operating system. You don't need to install any third-party software. Microsoft handles it. So yeah, that's what I'll do in my next video. I'll show you guys how to password encrypt a file or a drive on your local system. So even if someone gains access to your local computer system, and even if they log into your account, that file is password protected. So it's added layer of security. It's think of those medieval castles. Those medieval castles where you had they build multiple walls, so multiple layered security. So even if the enemy breaches one castle wall, they still got to breach the second castle wall and then the third castle wall, which gives your your soldiers time to repel the enemy's attack. So yeah. That was today's video. So to summarize, what we've done is I've enabled an administrator user account on this Windows 10 operating system, and I've set the system so that your standard user account, which is your everyday account, which you're going to use, it can still operate the system, browse the internet, use applications, but it needs permission to install any software. And yes, if you're an elderly person, it's best to have your son or your daughter to act as the administrator. So if you want to install anything on your system, you need to call your kids to get the password. And that way, if someone's trying to scam you, hopefully that will early detect that scam early in progress. Anyway, and also if you can always call a computer technician like me or a cybersecurity professional, and we can do this for you if you require assistance. Nice. Well, yeah. Thanks for watching my video, and have a good Christmas and a good New Year. All right. Cheers. Have a good one.